Yeah.
But yeah, a huge part of this, we're just kind of practicing our vocalization, practicing storytelling, and kind of, just practicing
Exactly.
talking to someone else, because we can sit here and lab by ourselves for as long as we want, but if we're not talking to someone else about it, then we're kind of just by ourselves, studying
Right.
by
Right.
ourselves. You could type online in some forum where nobody really, sometimes
Who
people don't
cares?
understand what they're talking about, or like you can't
And
get the
that
message
too.
apart, or like lost in translation kind of thing. So this is cool. Like
Right.
we get to practice and then go through the job
I find
interview
this fun, by
process.
the way. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. It helps me
So
with my
we'll
own
see.
lab stories and stuff too. So like based off my things,
Yeah,
Mm.
for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, Greg, whenever you're ready, you can share. Oh, you already. Okay, my bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm already
You're
no
already set
worries.
up.
Yeah. So I just
Awesome.
throw up a few switches.
Okay, sweet. So yeah, let's get them connected with those crossover cables.
All right. Cool. So let's go ahead and pull some of these bad boys out. So we'll do fast Ethernet 1 to fast Ethernet 1. So then did you want me to explain like the process that it goes through as far as electing the root bridge and stuff like that? Like what exactly is it that we're gonna
Oh,
basically do here?
if you want to. I mean,
Okay.
I actually didn't have a plan for this episode yet.
Right,
I
So
was
right. I
gonna
mean,
ask some
I don't
questions to be
let's
really.
honest.
wing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm with that. I'll do.
All right. Yeah, I was gonna ask some questions if you don't mind too, by the way. Like as if like I
Oh,
don't know and things like that.
go right ahead. Yeah, whatever questions I'll try and answer them. I mean, I'm down to
All
do that. I like that.
right, no problem.
Okay, I like what you got
So
going
any,
on here. So
Mhm. All right, so from what I'm seeing, you are configuring spanning tree protocol, right?
that's what we're gonna do. Yeah,
Okay.
configure some STP. So, from what I know, what I can recall off the top of my head right now, as far
Mhm.
as the election process goes between spanning tree protocol. So the first thing basically what spanning tree protocol does is it blocks a port on connected switches. That way
Mhm.
it doesn't cause a broadcast storm when
Okay.
those Ethernet frames are being sent, from one switch to another,
Mhm.
updating, those MAC addresses. So basically when it comes to, STP, what it's doing is it's first going to elect the root bridge, right? So the root bridge is
Mhm.
going to be elected based off of the priority ID, which on every switch defaulted is 32768, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So if all of those are the same,
you got
from
it.
there, what it's going to do is it's going to base it off of the MAC address. So whatever MAC
Mhm.
address has the lowest um, MAC address number, or just the damn, what's the word I'm looking for? Um,
See, he knew it right away. He said the lowest. Last episode, I got it confused with OSPF, and I said the highest. And
oh yeah, yeah, no, it's the lowest. I was just trying to think of what's the. It's not ASCII. It's not binary. I
hex.
hex. Yeah, there we go.
Hexadecimal, if I'm not
Yeah.
There
mistaken.
we
Yeah.
go. Yeah, yeah. It was literally on the tip of my tongue. So yeah,
Right.
so basically it's gonna just based off of the lowest hexadecimal value between the three switches is what it's
Mhm.
going to basically determine which one is going to be the root bridge for the switches. So that's going to be obviously if all of those switches are under the same exact VLAN, which is
Mhm.
obviously defaulted at VLAN 1.
Mhm.
From there, I mean, you can do obviously, a few different things as far as, separating it between VLANs. So you can do PVST, so per VLAN spanning tree. That
Okay.
way you can separate which one is going to actually be the root bridge depending on the different, VLANs that are going to be configured on the
Mhm.
switches. So
Okay.
that's essentially how it works. So basically the process that it goes through is going to go through different port states. So it's going to go through blocking first, then listening, then learning, and then it's going to forward. So that's what's going to basically happen when it comes to spanning tree. So the port that's going to get blocked between the three switches, that is going to be, I don't really remember how it's going to be determined. I know that one of them is obviously the cost.
Mhm.
That's going to be one of the things that it's going to be determined. I can't think of the entire process of STP on how it
Okay.
elects which port is going to be the one that's going to be blocked between the
All right.
the 3 switches. So I mean, if you guys want to elaborate on that, I know it, but
Okay.
I don't know it. You know what I mean? It's one of those
Mm-hmm.
things where I've looked at spanning tree, I've studied it, I've configured it,
Mm-hmm.
but I haven't just done this to talk to people and kind of go
Okay.
over how
All right.
basically I would basically be inside of like an interview and I would
Mm-hmm.
speak
All
on
right.
it.
So let me think about it, like what you're trying to say. So you're basically saying, like in the root bridge aspect, that's basically saying the one that's the root bridge is like the king of all of them, right?
Correct. Yeah. So
And
that's the one that's
every
going to
communication,
forward the frames. Right.
yeah, has
Yeah.
to
So
go
all
through it.
it has to go. Yeah, exactly. So that's
Mhm.
exactly how it works. Mhm.
Okay. So then in that case, then that would be like, all right, so all ports on that is like forwarding to every other switch that's connected to
Correct.
it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
And then if I'm not mistaken, those ones were called designated ports from when I was trying to learn this.
So on the root bridge, those are, I believe, called root ports. And then the ports that are on the other switches are designated ports. And basically the ports that are designated ports are the ports that have the lowest cost to get to the root bridge. So
I thought it
that's
was the designated port, like as the forwarding ports for the main like root bridge, and then the root ports would be like the best path to the root bridge from the other switches.
is that what it is?
Yeah, and then after
Okay.
that, basically any port that is with the other like the last ports is gonna be like the blocking ports pretty much from what
Right.
I remember. And then like I know like what you mentioned, the cost as well is like a key part
Mhm.
to it. And then like that's like the cost and then the port IDs is like the last part, if I'm not
Right,
mistaken.
right. Yeah. So if it's so basically if two ports that are connected on a switch have the exact same cost, the port that's going to be in the blocking state is going to be the port that has a higher port number. So for example, as you see on switch 2, it's fast Ethernet 1 and fast Ethernet 2.
Mm-hmm.
In this situation on that switch, we'll do it for this one for switch 1. So fast
Mm-hmm.
Ethernet 1 and fast Ethernet 2, since that's a higher port number, that's the one that's going to be blocked on that
Mm-hmm.
switch,
Right.
and that's why it's still in that orange,
Mm-hmm.
still got the orange color to it.
Right. And then I remember, if I'm not mistaken, so the opposite end of the blocking port would be a designated port as well too, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so so just to open these up.
Yeah, I remember like going through this way earlier before. I used to get so confused with this stuff, but then
Hmm.
like trying to learn it a different way, it clicked more easier, you know?
Oh yeah, with Discord, when you share your application, we can't
Mhm.
see your command line, so you just have to share your screen instead.
Am I not sharing my screen?
No, you're just sharing the application of Packet Tracer. So we can see Packet Tracer,
Oh,
but
okay,
when you open up that separate
I
window for the
gotcha.
command line, we can't see that.
Mhm.
Hold on, let me just.
Did we lose you?
All right. No, I'm still here. I'm still here.
Okay.
Screen
Yeah,
share.
that was a good
And then
conversation. So far, so good. So far, so good.
doing here is just loading.
Okay.
Okay,
That was
so then
good.
there we go. Boom. Green. I think we're good to go now. You guys see the command line?
Yeah,
Or no?
Yeah.
that looks good. That looks good.
Mhm.
So yeah,
You guys can see it now. Okay, cool. Yeah, I just pulled up everything just to pull up, the how basically spanning tree is. So I mean, from
Mhm.
this, from logging in here, we can, determine which one is obviously the root bridge.
Mhm.
And the way we would do that is, so the root bridge would be this, and then this would be the MAC address of the switch. Okay, 32769. I said 68.
Mhm.
So, or actually it
close.
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
the one.
Oh,
Yep.
I have a
Okay.
question to ask if you don't mind.
So Yeah, for sure.
So I
So
remember
this
you
is the root
mentioned
bridge.
that the priority is naturally 32768, right? But when you see it
Mm-hmm.
on here, I'm wondering as to why is it 32769?
I mean, honestly, I don't remember why it does that. I see this one here.
Mhm.
I believe because of the VLAN, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's why it's
Oh,
a
I
higher
think I remember
priority.
something about that too. Like the VLAN adds an increment to it.
Mhm.
Right, exactly. So I
Okay.
believe that's what it is. Now that I think about it, it's because of the VLAN. So that's why it has a
Okay. So
higher
that extra
priority
one is
number.
the VLAN ID being added to it.
Right,
Okay.
correct. Yeah. So that's what that was. Did you have any other questions?
No. So I was just gonna say actually to add to that. So if you had other different VLANs, that means that number would be different then.
So I mean, we can go ahead and try and do that. Uh, I'll just create VLAN 10.
Mhm.
Uh, well, what should we do? Should we do VTP so that way they're all synced together, or
Let's do this. Yeah, so you
so
typed in VLAN 10, so then type in like name and then give it a name.
just give it marketing?
Yeah, let's do marketing.
Okay, cool.
And then let's
And
do
I'll
like
exit
let's say VLAN 99.
Mhm.
And
VLAN
then
99.
the name, let's do like
We'll just do sales.
yeah, sales is good.
Sales is good. Okay.
And
And then
then let's just
what
do
I can
the
do is I can exit out. Yeah, go ahead.
let's go into the interface. What's the interface connecting to switch to?
The interface
Interface.
connecting to switch to is fast Ethernet 2.
Okay, so let's go
I'll
into
move this over.
fast Ethernet 2
Okay.
and then go no shutdown, switch port mode. We're going to do trunk. Yeah, we'll do
You want to
trunk.
make it?
We'll do a trunk port up.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So then,
I
yeah, I
have a
mean, did you
question
want to
too.
do VTP? Because we could do VTP that way if we're going to make them all trunk ports and then have them all connected. And then we can make this one the server, make these clients, and that way they'll all have the same exact VLANs configured with one another.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that
Uh,
sounds good.
yeah, okay.
And
Okay.
then we'll
Well, let's do
do
that.
let's set the native VLAN to let's put it let's give sales the native VLAN at 99.
Sales,
So
sales. Okay,
so we'll
cool.
do switch port trunk native VLAN
Yep.
99.
Okay. I have a question by the way.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna ask, so like if I had no clue, like what is a VLAN, by the way? Like just want like a short description of it.
So
Okay, so I mean, yeah, go ahead if you want to explain.
so so when you were 10 years old playing StarCraft in your parents' basement with your best friend,
Mm-hmm.
then that was a local area network. So you had two
Oh.
computers, probably old computers, plugged into either one another or
Mm-hmm.
into what was called a hub. And
Mm-hmm.
a hub is just like a switch that doesn't have a brain. So
Okay.
it's a local area network. So
Mm-hmm.
all of the devices can
Yeah.
connect with each other and they can talk with each other. And you
Mm-hmm.
don't really need to subnet that or anything. But a
Oh.
VLAN, a VLAN's like a virtual local area network. And when you can have more than one in one area.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
but that's when like different IP addresses come in, different networks in different areas. So you need
Okay.
a way for those to communicate with each one another. So for that you need either a layer 3 switch or a router. But
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So basically, from what I'm getting, it's like logical, small, specific areas that are different, and like you need, like you said, like a router for them to connect with each other.
that's right.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, with the VLAN, the reason why you would have a VLANs is so that way you can separate the broadcast between the different local area networks. So that way, instead of everything being sent under the same exact local area network, you can split it up. So, for
Okay.
example, in this situation, how we have marketing and sales, right? So
Mm-hmm.
basically, everything that's in the marketing virtual local area network is only going to stay in that virtual area network. So
Okay.
all that traffic is going to go through there, right? And then the same thing with any broadcasts as well. That's what's also going to happen. And then vice versa with the sales VLAN, everything for the sales department, that's basically going to happen on that virtual area network. So with VLANs, what's nice about VLANs is with the switches, you can have multiple VLANs, so that way you can separate those different networks, even though they're all connected to the same device. Is basically what it is with the VLAN.
Okay. So it's really helpful for like organizations, basically different kind of departments and things of that nature.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Way better
So
than my basement description.
Is it okay? I'm new to this, man. I spend a lot of time really just talking to myself. I'll be there, just like trying to like explain it, because I don't really do this. So this is nice, man. I'm down to do this all the time. Did you have any other questions?
No, like I understand both descriptions, even though you said your basement one wasn't that bad, but that was bad too.
Yeah.
Virtual basements. Virtual basements, bro. You got like imagine you have 10 basements in the same house.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
I'll be happy about that. I'm in my basement as we speak right now, man. Oh man.
Nice. So yeah, so that's basically how that works now. I believe, what is your name? Adam, right?
Yeah,
Adam,
my name's Adam. That's right.
Okay, cool. Adam, and we got.
And my name is
I don't want to click over.
Fethi, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been saying it wrong this whole time. Sorry, bro. I've been saying Fethi.
Yeah, all right, no problem.
Yeah, man.
A lot of people make mistakes with my name. My name is hard to pronounce because Arabic. So yeah.
Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all love here, anyways. So, Adam. So let's set up VTP, and then we'll go ahead and we'll switch. What do you call it? From VLAN, so that way they can be the root bridge on different switches is what we're going to do. I did have one question. Obviously I know I can go through it and lab it up and see if it's going to work. I did just want to ask, with the native VLAN, with VTP, we only have to configure it on the server switch, right? We don't have to configure it on each one. Or do we still have to configure it on each switch, the native VLAN, if we're going to change it from VLAN 1 to VLAN 99?
I think if we use VTP, we might not have to, but we're gonna do it anyways, and we'll make.
We're gonna have to make them trunk ports, so that's for sure. So that way they can communicate with each other.
Stay on switch 0 for now. We have one more port to configure on switch 0, which is the fast Ethernet.
Yes, sir. Do that now.
And then we're just gonna do the same thing. No shut. And the trunk mode, of course, yeah. So switch port mode trunk. Then no shutdown. And then we're going to do switch port trunk native VLAN 99.
Nope. All right, cool. So now these are all configured.
And
so then
we can go to switch 1, top right.
Okay. So you're changing.
Oh, so you want to just go through it?
Yeah, we'll do really quick setup. And then we'll get into.
Okay, cool. So then
we'll just go straight
VTP,
to the PVST. But yeah. And then
okay, yeah, let's just do that. All right, so
I think VTP is a whole another video, because that's gonna.
I feel you.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother topic. I'm
okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I could have configured it, pretty quickly. That's what I was saying. We can just do that, and then it'll just share all the VLANs, and it will be good to go. But yeah, that's fine. So then we'll do.
We can do it your way too. It's all good.
It's all good. Okay. We'll just keep it simple for this episode. Switch port mode trunk, right? So that way they can communicate with each other. Switch port trunk VLAN 99. That way there's no more mismatch. That's restored, and then we'll go to interface fast Ethernet 2. We'll do the same thing. We'll do no shut, switch port mode, trunk.
Yeah, you've been practicing, man. You're taking all the words out of my mouth.
Oh yeah. No, man, I'm adept to these bad boys, for the most part. So now, okay, yeah. So no negotiate. If we turn that on, then that's gonna actually turn off the negotiation for VTP. So I think. Did we do that on this switch? On switch 0? I think I did it on one of the ports. Let me just check.
For no negotiation, right?
Yeah. So basically, with no negotiating, it doesn't negotiate VTP frames, if I'm not
Right.
mistaken. So that's
Mhm.
what happened with that. So, all right. So
Right.
then let's go in here, config T, and then I think these are just, yeah. So then what I'm going to do is a little bit simpler interface range, fast Ethernet 1 to 2,
Yeah, you
no
badass.
shot, something like that, man. Something
Yeah,
like that. All
if we
right.
have a
Switch
recruiter
port.
watching, you have to hire Gregory.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
real.
He's your next
I
candidate.
don't. I honestly, man, I don't think I'm ready. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It might just be me. It's one of those things where I helped someone else out like a week ago or maybe like a few days ago, and I was actually kind of surprised. I'm like, damn, I actually know a little bit more than what I thought I knew.
You'd be
So,
amazed sometimes. I know. Like when you go through this stuff in the process.
well, Adam, I see on your Facebook you have that you work with Azure, right? And
Yeah,
you have your CCNA.
yeah.
Okay. So I'm sure you know all this. You probably know way more than I do. So
I've been practicing a lot.
feel
but
you, man. I feel you.
but
That's
but
all I've been doing. I've just been living.
but that's what I was saying earlier. Like I already had a plan for commands in my mind, and then I was
Hmm.
saying them, and then I'm not even talking anymore. You're putting in all the commands I'm thinking about. So I was like, shit, okay,
Oh yeah,
you,
yeah,
you know what you're
yeah,
doing.
yeah. No, I feel
That's
you.
pretty cool. So that's
Oh
pretty
yeah,
cool that you're
no,
doing
I
that.
do. So let's
Yeah.
see. Yeah. So then we're gonna do spanning tree.
Yep, port
Um,
fast,
I believe it's
and then
yeah. We're gonna
you can do
Wait, not
the
port fast, not port fast,
well,
not port
well.
rap
fast.
If
or
we do
rapid
port fast,
rapid
If we
PVS2.
do port
so
fast, it's going to
That's
prevent the
access
switch.
ports, right, right.
Yeah, yep,
Yeah, so we do
yeah, and on
spanning tree
top,
mode,
yeah. So port fast,
rapid PVST.
yeah. You want to change it to make it faster, if I'm not mistaken.
and then I
That's the one,
believe we
yeah.
had the
Yeah.
okay.
Imagine if you
So
heard
then,
about port fast.
Not good.
Yeah.
BPDU guard, bro.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Exact. That's what I was gonna say. I was like, wait, if we do port fast, we gotta put BPU guard on, but these are all switches that are connected to each other, so they're automatically gonna shut off, and everything's gonna be in error disabled.
That's
Yeah,
right.
because they live.
So
Good thing I
Yeah,
said that then,
yeah,
because we could talk about
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, let's go, let's do it. What do you want to? What do you want to talk about that?
Um, we just did.
Let's see. So let's do spanning tree VLAN. We'll do VLAN. Well, wait, is it like this? I think it's is it
I do
spanning
have a
tree mode?
question though, too, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, because I noticed that like you changed the native VLAN to like 99 to a different number, right? So like, why would
Hmm.
somebody change the native VLAN to a different native VLAN if you don't mind, like me asking that?
That's for security reasons, because the thing is
Hmm.
everyone knows basically that a
Oh,
switch is the native VLAN is VLAN one. So in order to move that, so that way someone can't just come in and have an easier way of hacking into the network, then you
Hmm.
would switch native VLAN. Because the thing is the native VLAN is a VLAN that's going to basically connect all the other switches to one another. So let's say someone's
Hmm.
able to hack it, switch, for example, they'll be able to basically get all the information from the entire network just because they know
Hmm.
the VLAN. That's one of the
Okay.
things that you have to. Yeah, so it's really for security reasons. That's why you would do that. From what
Okay.
I know, anything to add to that, Adam?
yeah, so the only thing I have to add on to that is to finish the command, you would type in spanning tree and then putting a comma in between all the VLANs that we're using. So then spanning tree VLAN and then 1-10-99 because those are all the VLANs we have configured on the switch. And then after that, I think the next one is root secondary or root primary.
Which one's the main one and which one's like the backup?
Oh wait, we have VLAN one, we have VLAN 10, and then we have VLAN 99. So what I was thinking of doing was
Hmm.
basically making it so where each of the switches had a different what do you call it? Not
Instance.
native
A
VLAN.
root bridge
Yeah, a different root bridge
for
per
each
switch.
VLAN, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So that's what I was thinking we could do, just to do a nice little config. I'm just trying to think. I mean, I know I can obviously click the question mark, but because I thought you have to go into rapid, or no, you don't have to do that. So I think it's, let's see. So spanning tree, VLAN 10, and then it's default or priority actually know root. So we can just do that.
You
So
can do
basically,
either.
And then you
yeah.
can put
So
another thing after that too.
right. So I was gonna explain that, but you guys already
Okay.
know how that works. So we can do root, and then I believe it's primary. So basically, what this is gonna do is it's gonna make VLAN 10 the primary root bridge for switch 2. So then what we can do is we can go to do show spanning.
Mhm.
And then here we can take a look and see, did it change? Still have VLAN 1 on here.
I have
Where's
another
VLAN
question
10?
too, though, based off like what we mentioned earlier. So, like, what's the difference between like picking the root option and the priority option when you're configuring spanning tree protocol?
The root or the priority, let me go up. Oh, that's right. Okay, so what did I do? So basically with the priority, what you do is you can change the priority number for that specific VLAN, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can do a lower priority number, so that way it just automatically elects that one as being the root bridge, or you can
Okay.
actually go in and select it and be like, this is the one that I want to be the root bridge, just in case, let's say other switches, for example, they change their priority number. So it just
Okay.
depends. I would assume on which way you want to configure it.
Okay.
But I would say that the root would be the best way to do it, just because you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
hey, this VLAN on this switch is the root bridge. Is
Okay.
basically what you're doing. And I
So
think the
basically,
reason why it
it's on.
didn't go
Yeah.
yet, yeah, I think the reason why, well, has it been like 50 seconds yet? Because it has to, the network has to converge again for that VLAN, and it has to go through the whole STP process again. But it looks like these ports are forwarding.
That's beautiful.
So yeah, but
Okay.
I don't see VLAN 10 on here, and we just configured it as being the root primary. No, it doesn't make a difference. I'll just get out spanning tree. Yeah, because I'm thinking we're supposed to be able to see VLAN 10 in here,
Mm-hmm.
but all I see is VLAN 1. I don't see VLAN 10. Because if we made this one the root bridge for VLAN 10, which if I'm not mistaken, that's exactly what we did. Spanning tree VLAN root primary. Shouldn't it show on here? We should be able to see
Right.
something, just VLAN 1. Unless here, I'll just fast forward time a little bit. That makes a difference. I doubt it, just because it has been over a minute. So
It should have
should
came
have
up.
already done.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it should have already converged already. That should have already been good to go. Damn, this streaming is no joke on my computer. It's crazy. It's kind of weird. It's not even. It shouldn't even be that serious. There we go. All right, cool. So I mean, let me just try and pull it up again. No, we still aren't getting anything. Let me just go ahead. Just to do some troubleshooting. We'll just go in.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm gonna grab a drink real quick.
All right. No problem.
Thing, man, do your thing. There we go. So, how do you say your name again, my man?
Fethi.
Fethi. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So Fethi, you see here, priority
Yeah. Yeah.
32778. So it's because of the VLAN. When it's a higher
Mm-hmm.
VLAN number,
Mm-hmm.
then that's what happens. It changes the priority number, and as you can
Okay.
see, so this is the bridge. Why did it do this as being the root bridge though? That's my question.
Mm-hmm.
So it's showing here, so we can see here
Mm-hmm.
all the VLANs, but we can't see them on these switches. So
Oh,
that's
it's not
what I'm
supposed
trying
to
to
do
figure out
that
now, because
thing, right?
that to me, I don't think so. You're supposed to be able to see all the VLANs
Right.
on each of the switches,
Right.
especially since they're all connected. They're on trunk ports. We changed the
Mm-hmm.
VLAN, the what's it called, the native VLAN.
Mm-hmm.
You can see here 32867. You see, so it went up 99.
Yeah.
This one. So then let's do this. Let me go ahead and this is the root, this is the root, and then this is the root. So it's a root bridge for all of them.
Mm-hmm. Because you did primary before, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I'm not sure if it was because of the primary. Maybe
Or was
that's
it just in
why.
general?
But I did primary on this switch though, for it to be
Oh,
the bridge. Yeah, so that's why I'm like, it's not really making sense. Let's do
and
this,
this one's
or
supposed to be the root then.
right, this was supposed to be the root for VLAN 10, is what it's supposed to be.
Okay.
So let me do this. Let me do spanning tree. I believe it's mode. Actually, VLAN. We'll do VLAN 1. And then we'll change the priority on this one. I believe we can do 40, 96. All right.
And I have a question, if
Because
you don't mind me asking.
yeah, man, go right ahead.
So why is it specifically 4096 when you have to type like the priority number?
So the priority number is basically incremented in certain. I don't know what to say. I'm just gonna say digits. So
Like
basically,
numbers,
it
basically?
goes from I believe 4096.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you can go up. So let me look it up. Spanning tree priority.
I think what you're trying to say is that, so like basically
But yeah,
the increments added by 4096, right? For the next numbers, like from the lowest to the higher, like the more higher it is.
yeah, because let me try and do something. No, pull up my calculator. Yeah, because this shit is loading super slow. I'm not connected onto the Ethernet. I'm just on wireless, and I'm at
Okay.
my dad's house. He doesn't have Wi-Fi 6 yet. I don't even think that this laptop supports Wi-Fi 6 or 802.11ax.
Yeah.
Sure you heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's like the newer Wi-Fi, if not mistaken, right? The AX.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Wi-Fi 6 is.
Yeah, he was saying 802.11ax. Like that's like the later one, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, like with wireless, I remembered some things, but like the new ones, I don't really know that well about, you know?
I haven't touched on wireless yet.
Yeah, it's too much. Honestly, I don't think it's for me, you know?
It's black magic, man.
Yeah.
Do we have a man
Like I
down?
remember you saying yeah, I think so. I'm wondering.
What do you remember, bro?
I was gonna say, you're going through you learned like Microsoft Azure and stuff, right?
That's what I'm learning right now, yeah.
Okay, because I learned a bit of it too. I had my like administrator certification, but like it's really interesting. But like I'm not sure like right now. Obviously, I'm still getting my first job, so I'm gonna be more focused on that. But like afterwards, I have to do like in your position a lot of research about like what options I want. You know?
That's where I am right now, man. Like I'm in
Mm-hmm.
a network and cloud technician role, and right now
Mm-hmm.
it's like I can kind of fork off to any direction. Like I can go towards
Mm-hmm.
security, DevOps, or networking, or network automation, or system
Mm-hmm.
administration, and it's
Okay.
like there's or like development or operations, and there's so many different paths I can go on, and it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
overwhelming some days because
Right.
it's like, oh, like what do I want? It's like I don't
Right.
sometimes I don't know, but I do
Mm-hmm.
know. But it's like I know I'm pretty interested in the DevOps side of things. I've been interested
Okay.
in that,
That's dope. So that's like more
and
like the software aspect, right?
yeah, and it's more like not even software, but more like for example, there's a tool called DevOps.
Mm-hmm.
No, not DevOps. uh, I'm
I heard of DevOps though, but yeah.
there's a tool called Docker. Docker is what I meant to
Okay,
say,
right,
not
right,
DevOps.
Docker. Okay, I learned a bit of that too.
So now
That's do like containers and stuff, right?
Yeah, so now imagine a big boat comes and
Mm-hmm.
pulls up to the harbor and it has a whole bunch of shipping containers. And now imagine
Okay,
every single one of those shipping containers is full of code. And that code
okay.
that code can be like algorithms, or it could be storage, or it could be functions, or it could be GitHub stuff, or like pretty much anything. But
Oh,
essentially it's a container containing things. And
mm-hmm.
Docker is like an automation thing where basically you don't have to drive the boat and you don't have to park the boat, and
Mm-hmm.
Docker organizes those containers and stuff for you, kind of thing, as an automation tool. And then
Okay.
there's a even deeper layer to it called Kubernetes.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kubernetes is like, it works with Docker, and then it's kind of like the whole harbor. So then Kubernetes
Okay.
manages all the boats.
Okay.
So I don't know if that makes sense at all of what I just said.
All right.
I
That
haven't
that helps.
practiced that yet.
Right. I've heard of both. That's not a bad explanation. So you're saying like basically Docker is like the small aspect of it, whereas Kubernetes is like a more of a bigger scale when it comes to like the automation and things of that nature.
Yeah, exactly. So Docker's doing the more specific things, and then
Mm-hmm.
Kubernetes is orchestrating the bigger picture of all the specific things.
Okay. So the automation in code, I'm assuming, has to do with like all the stuff like you'd naturally have in like a computer operating system, but without the operating system.
Yeah, and I just came up with another metaphor to it. So Docker could be the violin player in an orchestra band, and then
Okay.
Kubernetes is like the guy at the front, the conductor.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so
All
that's
right.
that's another way to look at it, I guess.
Okay. Yeah,
And
I
then
remember learning a little
yeah,
bit of the two. It's just it's still a lot to it though.
yeah, there's a lot to it, and it's really hard to wrap my head around it. But one
Mm-hmm.
day at a time.
Right. Yeah, but like your explanation, it got it more like easier for me to understand the aspect of it now, you know?
Yeah, thanks, man. I know that
Yeah. No
when people explain it to me at first, they use these
problem.
outlandish explanations like, "Oh well,
Right.
the Terraform algorithms of Kubernetes, open source platform of orchestrating all these algorithms." Like, what are you saying, man? Like,
Right.
like
You're
sure,
speaking another language.
like,
You're too technical.
yeah. So like, tell me in a dumbed down terms, man. Like, I'm
Right,
not there
right,
yet.
right,
So I do my best
right.
to find ways like that to explain it to other people.
Yeah.
So
Now
yeah,
that was good. Same here, man. Like when someone asks me something too, if I know about it, I try to find a simple way to explain it, you know?
yeah.
I don't like being too complex at all too.
Like today I had an interview with a lady, and
Mm-hmm.
she was asking me some soft skill questions, and one of her questions
Mm-hmm.
was, "Tell me about a time you had to explain something to a customer that was technical," and then I
Okay.
told her I didn't even tell her about a time actually. I actually just asked her a question, so I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"So, do you know what DHCP is?" And she was like, "Nope." And I was like, "Sweet. So, when you turn your computer on, how often have you configured an IP address?" And she said, "Never." And I'm like, "Great. So that's the beauty of DHCP is that when you turn a
Mm-hmm.
computer on, it sends a broadcast out looking for a server that has DHCP on it, and it
Mm-hmm.
basically goes through a transaction where it asks for the IP address, and then it takes it. And then this way, it's super easy for day-to-day users who aren't technical to be using a computer.
Right.
So, and then that way it's like she wasn't technical, so there was no reason for me to talk about like routers and routing protocols and tell
Right.
her tell
Right.
her how many bits was in an IP address because
Right.
she was
Right.
the HR, not the IT.
Right.
So it's like
Right.
there was no reason to get into that part. So if I was talking to
And like
IT
the
manager,
TCP/IP setting too. Right.
yeah,
Right.
if I was talking to the IT manager, then I would be
Mm-hmm.
like, so DHCP, like you're most likely being assigned a dynamic address, and that's a IPv4 private address. So
Mm-hmm.
a server or a printer would not have DHCP. That would be static, but
Right.
dynamic, that's everybody's phones or desktop computers, workstations, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
That was actually a great explanation. I know I have a lot of work to do, man.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, I have work
Yeah.
to do too, but we,
Yeah.
we all working on it.
For sure. Definitely. You gave me more insight because that's like one of my things I have to learn more about is saying it differently compared to like an IT manager to like a recruiter or to even like a what's it called, the IT engineer and things of that nature, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, looks like we lost Greg. So
Yeah.
if you want,
Oh
we
no, I'm
oh, you're still here. Okay.
Okay. Wow. Talk about perfect timing, man.
Hmm. Can you hear him?
I can't hear him though.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
I can see his lips moving, but
Right.
nothing coming out.
He's saying he could hear us, I think, but we can't hear him.
Yeah, there it is. Nope.
All right.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
loud and
Now it's
clear.
good. Yep.
Oh, there we go. So let me share my screen again. Yeah, I was I'm over here. I'm like, damn, I'm getting ignored.
Sorry, we didn't even hear you.
Yeah, we
No,
didn't
no,
hear
no,
you.
no
That's
worries.
it was like frozen. So like we were
Was it?
lost. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard everything though. I heard how you guys were talking about DHCP, about
Mhm.
how you explain it differently between, an IT manager, like an IT engineer or a network
Right.
engineer, and then like the HR and stuff. Do
Hmm.
you know anything about DHCP, Fetty?
Yeah, yeah. So do you want me
You do?
like
Okay.
try to answer some based off of that from what I know of?
I didn't know if you had any questions, so I was like,
Oh,
I'm down to elaborate if you want.
Yeah, let's practice.
Mm,
Okay,
Take
cool.
sure.
take a swing at it, Fetty.
Okay, so let me ask first and foremost, like, who am I talking to in this case? Is it like
Okay.
a manager?
I'll be the HR, and
Okay,
Greg will be the engineer. So
okay.
hi,
So,
my name's
all
Ashley.
right.
Yeah, I just called you up for this networking position
Mhm.
with Jimmy's Technology. So if you can
Yep.
tell me what DHCP is, that would be great. Thanks.
Okay, no problem. So, first thing is first, right? So, like, when you first like turn on the computer, computers need IP addresses to communicate. It's like how me and you right now, we're speaking English, right? So, the
I
fact that we're
guess.
speaking English, yeah. So then computers have their own language, and this is based off IPs. And when you turn it on, it's gonna look for one. So in your case, when you turn on your computer, right, you don't have to assign it yourself for you to access the network. 9 times out of 10, you're just going to end up having it, right?
Yeah,
And
I don't do that.
thanks to DHCP, that's the reason as to why. So basically what it does in that case is that, all right, so it's going to reach out to a server or any sort of appliance to basically get a broadcast from it. And it's basically going to ask, well, hello, DHCP, are you there? I need your help. I need to be assigned an IP address or else I cannot connect to the network. I cannot connect to you as well too. And then it goes through a process. And basically this whole process is going to exchange that information. And then after that, once it does, it gives other information for the devices for it to communicate to other computers and to communicate outside of the network as well too. And then after that process is pretty much done, then that's how you're able to communicate and reach out to other devices. But like your server, for example, that's not going to need it, or like a printer or anything that you're going to need services from. Because at the end of the day, you as the client, you're going to need those services. So when you're going to take those services, at that point, okay, those services have to have a network engineer or network administrator like myself to basically assign all the IP address information. So then therefore I'm able to reach out to it. Because what happens when those have DHCP is a big problem. At the end of the day, someone like you or any other end user are going to be frustrated at network engineers and network administrators about, I'm not able to access this device. I don't know why. And the reason why is because someone has given it DHCP for those devices. So then what ends up happening is, let's say those IP addresses, they're gone, then they're going to come with a different IP address. And then you don't know that though. And that's because someone configured with DHCP, in fact, where they should have done a static IP address. And then this is why, at the end of the day, DHCP is really important throughout a network. But you should only have it for your computers, not for like things that you have to reach out to.
That's pretty good.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, that was solid.
I'm still working on it though, but like, and then like I was
Oh
thinking
yeah.
about even putting a story based off of that too, like based off. Okay, so then one time I remember the computer basically. It reminded me of a time where I remember the computer. I checked the IP address, and for some reason, I got a specific IP address. But I was thinking like to mention a peep and things of that. But like in the case of a manager, do I tell that story? I know the IT engineer, they'll get it right.
Yeah,
So
for
like I
sure. I
want to
mean,
know your
anyone who
insight
knows
on
about
that. You know what
DHCP.
I mean?
Oh yeah,
What
you
happened?
you've gone through the interview process. I was gonna say Adam's already gone through the interview process, so he knows more. I was just saying,
Right.
like, I would assume, yeah, they obviously know how DHCP works, and they want to know, basically, if you know how it works and what happens,
Mm-hmm.
throughout the entire process, of
Right.
DHCP. How it
Right.
basically is able to acquire that IP address, the whole
Mm-hmm.
exchange process that goes through it,
Right.
and how all that stuff works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to get your insight on that, Adam. So like if you were like pretending to be the manager at that point, like when I stopped, like I could have continued that story, right? And basically explain about the people and things of that nature. So like I was wondering for the manager too, should I explain that story as well too, but more in a non-technical way, right?
Yeah, I think as far as HR and recruiters are concerned, it's more about having a
Mhm.
conversation with them because
Okay.
HRs do care about your technical skills, but they don't really know what they're looking for.
Right.
And for any HRs out there, sorry, I know there are HRs who are badass. Like I've met a few
Mhm.
HR people in the last like month or so who actually knew more
Right.
tech than I did. And I was
Hmm.
like, okay, well, shit, you're just a recruiter, but you actually have worked with Kubernetes and you've done system engineering work before. So, not all of them,
Hmm.
but there's a lot of
Right.
HR out there who don't know tech, and I think it's
Hmm.
important to know that what they're looking for is they want to make sure that you can communicate your thoughts properly, and they want to make sure
Hmm.
that you're not a narcissist, and they want
Right.
and they want to make sure that you're not like just a weirdo pretty much. So that's where, a question
Makes
like,
sense.
let's say there's a question like, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Right.
So this is the best time to answer this question because of COVID. So
Right. Right.
anytime anyone says that to me, my immediate answer to that is, well, I love this question because 5 years ago we did not see COVID coming, right?
Hmm.
And every time I say that, the interviewer cracks up and they love that answer.
Right.
But then
That's
I'm just
smart. That's
like,
smart.
so that's what they like though. They like it when you're being real because a lot
Right.
of people,
Personable, right?
yeah,
Hmm.
a lot of people they'll just say like, "Oh, in 5 years I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna fucking
Right. Right.
get this job and this certificate, or I'm gonna get this promotion." It's like, dude, just like come back down to earth, bro. Like,
Right. Right. Right.
so so that's what the recruiters are looking for. Like they just want to know if you can be their friend or you just pretend to
Right.
be their friend. I don't. Maybe they're all secretly not my friend, just pretending. I don't know.
Hmm.
but but the point is that once you get to the IT manager, they
Right.
this is again generalizing, but more often than
Hmm.
not, I've noticed that they don't really care that much about like you. They care more about if you can get the job done. So
Right.
the recruiter cares a bit more about who you are as a person, and
Hmm.
the IT engineer still kind of cares about how you are as a person, but more so cares about if you can get the job done or not.
Right.
So
Hmm.
Adam, let me ask you this, just because I am curious. So, I mean, for the most part, like, I know pretty much everything on the CCNA except for like a few things. Like, I can't explain QoS. I mean, I can't explain network automation like that. Yeah, I know that there's Ansible, there's Python with it, and there's a few other
Right.
things. Obviously, the different parts of QoS and stuff like that. But
Same here, man.
um
man, what was my question?
so
Yeah,
you want me to explain Ansible to you
like the
real quick, right?
CCNA. No, I was just
Okay.
wondering, like, how does the CCNA translate into like a job? Just because, like, I can obviously configure this, I can explain it, you know what I mean? But like, I just feel like I'm not going to be spending my entire day configuring switches and the little things that I
That
know about, like, routing and stuff.
that's a really really good point because it's funny because companies aren't even like really using routers and switches anymore. They are using virtual switches and routers and like the
Hmm.
Azure cloud
Or like
or
VMware.
VMware NSX
Yeah,
has virtual switches and routers.
yeah,
And you don't even go into the routers and switch. Like everything that we've done in this video and the last two videos, you don't do that anymore. Like nobody in a work environment even goes into it and does show commands. Nobody does configure commands. You don't even configure VLANs anymore, man. Like you go into the cloud and you have DevOps tools like Ansible and Puppet, or like VMware NSX. You go into like the Fabric. It's called the Fabric, and you can like deploy VMs from there, and everything is monitoring. Like you can use Ansible and get like GitHub scripts, like Python scripts to run your codes to pull back all the show commands that you want to see. So you can say, let's say, you can run a show command on 50 different routers through Ansible, but you wouldn't type in the show command. You would just run the script, or maybe you don't even run a script. Maybe you just have a monitoring program just with a bunch of charts showing you everything that's going on. So it's like, it's pretty crazy because it's one of those things where you go through high school and you learn all this stuff, and then you finish high school and you're like,
You never use that shit ever again.
And it's like, I feel like CCNA, it's
like you may use some math here and there. Yeah.
With the CCNA, it's
thing,
like,
but you're not like,
it's good to know the theory, I guess, but like when it comes down to it, it's like I feel like people put so much value on knowing the CCNA when that's not even what you're doing. It's like, oh, you need a CCNA for this job, and it's like, are you sure? Because I got hired for that job, and I never touched a router in the last 10 months. Not a physical one, at least.
yeah.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean, I know obviously if you're in a production environment that has a lot of routers and switches, the only way I could think of they're gonna go and touch an actual network device is if you get some kind of notification from SNMP that's telling you that you need to switch something out or that a port's down, or something like that. That's really all I could think of.
And even then,
I mean, I don't really see any, so
and even then, you might just escalate that to a day tech.
Right, and that's exactly what I was going to say. So my thing is like enough to actually get a job. Like, how does that work? So yeah, you get your CCNA, cool. Is that enough to start going and looking for jobs, or how do you kind of like feel about that? Because I mean, I like knowing all these things, obviously, because I know that it's going to be important for you if you need to troubleshoot stuff. Like you obviously need to know how to subnet.
Too.
You know what I mean?
So it's like I understand
you
what
need
you
to know
mean.
how to subnet.
Right.
So I think CCNA has been good, and I think the only reason why it's still good is its reputation, not because of the skill set. I think going forward, like, to be honest, from what I've heard from the market, the best certs out there, and you should not get all of them, by the way. I'm just gonna put a list down, and then here I'll pull up my screen so that you can read them out too with me. So the first one is Docker. Docker's huge. Look into it. If you care about it, then get certified. If you don't care about it, it's fine. So again, you have choices, right? So there's Puppet, there's Ansible, and the major two differences between these two is Puppet is systems automation, and Ansible is network automation. And by the way, you can use Ansible for system automation and Puppet for network, but that's just what they were best at. Maybe somebody doesn't agree with me, but that's okay. That's what I
basically. Yeah, if you don't mind me asking, for like Puppet and Ansible, so the whole point of it is like automation scripts, right? To basically like configure the network and the systems, right?
So imagine you get an error from a router, like something's bad with the network and you don't know what's going on. Imagine you have 50 routers, man, and it would be a nightmare to go into each and every single router to type in show commands to troubleshoot. Ansible, you can just, like, Network Chuck did a video where you can speak into a microphone and you can go, Ansible, run this troubleshooting command. and it's voice activated, man.
Oh
And
wow.
it will pull
Okay.
back. It will go through a troubleshooting script and give you all the information that you need to see, and give you error messages, give you like bug reports and stuff like that. So like you can figure out what's wrong in a network of like 1,000 routers in
Wow.
like pretty fast using Ansible because it
Okay.
automates everything.
Okay.
So Ansible is huge because of that, and Puppet is also huge because of that, because that's also the system side of things. Like
Okay.
automating groups of servers. Like maybe
Mm-hmm.
let's say a client asks you to deploy 50 VMs in VMware, and doing them
Mm-hmm.
one at a time is a lot. So you can use
Right.
Puppet to automate that process. You can already have templates in play, like it's called
Mm-hmm.
a manifest,
Okay.
and Puppet, and I think Ansible, it's called a playbook. That the
Mm-hmm.
templates and stuff. I think a football player, or at least a football fan designed Ansible,
Mm-hmm.
because it's called plays,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got the playbook, and then it's
Right.
kind of like set up like football. And then Puppet, it's got the
Right.
manifest. It's kind of like these weird puppet things. Then there's another one called Chef, and then
Mm-hmm.
the Chef templates are called recipes. So they
Oh,
they,
Yeah,
they
I've
played
heard
it
of
out
Chef.
pretty nice.
right.
So
Right.
so Puppet and Ansible, huge. Even Chef is pretty big. So if you want to
Mm-hmm.
if you're interested in those, get
That's my
certified
thing though.
in one.
Okay. So just one, basically.
Yeah, if you want to, but there's
Right.
there's
Right.
more choices. So
you
Mm-hmm.
guys can hear me.
yeah, go ahead, Greg.
My thing is like CCNA, the CCNA. So getting the CCNA, boom. Can you go out to the job market and try and get a job? Is my thing.
Yeah,
Just based off of like what's out there. Like,
you can because of its
okay,
reputation.
Mm-hmm.
I see. And then from there you're gonna learn other technologies like Ansible or Puppet, right? And that's
Mhm.
basically how that's gonna go down. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I just like think about that, and I'll watch different videos on like VMware and stuff like that, and I'm like, okay, well, I mean, if there's virtual switches and virtual routers, then what the fuck am I gonna do? You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Right.
Not the
I know what you
CCNA.
mean.
That's just like a concern. I'm like, yo, like, I mean, yeah, I can see why the CCNA is important, just because you're gonna learn
Right.
how a network works, how a packet gets from one, client device or one end device to another, and that whole
Like.
process. So that way, if you need to
Right.
troubleshoot something, you can be like, okay, this is where the error is, and this is why the error is there. But I think about, how is this actually going
Mm-hmm.
to translate into like the work environment, so like if I get,
Right.
because I already have the A+, so if I get the CCNA, boom, which like I can probably take that now, honestly, like I know pretty much everything. I just have to go to for a
Mm-hmm.
few practice exams,
Yeah, and it
excuse me,
was
and pay
tough. I
for it.
know. I failed the first time I took it,
It's
and the
like
second time I took it,
For
I
real.
passed. Yeah.
it's like learning algebra by without a calculator, just so you can get a
Mm-hmm.
job doing it with a
Yeah.
calculator.
I know, man, I know. I mean, luckily I know how to subnet. You get me, subnetting isn't difficult, so that's
Hey,
good.
that's good. That's a
But
key.
yeah,
Yeah.
no,
You're gonna need that one for sure.
nah, subnetting is easy peasy for sure,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so I'm not
that's the
worried
least of
about
our
that.
concerns.
But
That's the least of your concern. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah,
You don't want to take a lot of time on that
no,
part.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Right. No, man. I mean, I can, I mean, I pretty much can do that shit in my head, or, you
Right.
know,
Right.
just count.
Mm-hmm.
That's not an issue. But I was just thinking, like, how is this, going to translate into like, okay, I plus, I get my CCNA, so then I can
Mm-hmm.
start reaching out to recruiters, and then I get a job. So I'm like, should I do that, or should I try and get my VMware network virtualization certification, get out
Right.
there? You know
See,
what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'm just
even
like,
that's weird because VMware has network virtualization, but at the same time, Azure has it too, and Amazon has
Mm-hmm.
it as
hmm
well. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
is VMware also going to become a thing of the past? It's
That's a
certainly
yeah,
good
going in that
question.
direction, and
Right.
so
right.
that brings us back to, if you go a cloud path like Amazon or Azure or
hmm
Google. In my opinion, like there might be some controversy, but I think Azure and Amazon are definitely the leading players, with Google being
Of course.
pretty close. But I haven't seen nearly as much shit about Google as I have about Azure and Amazon.
Same
So,
here.
and both of these paths. So I'm going to write them down here. So Azure, you can be networking, you can be systems, you can be DevOps, you can be security, you can be administration. You can even just be like a practitioner or whatever, like just basic stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
so both of these have certificates for pretty much every path in IT. So I would look into that, and maybe just spend a couple days researching each one of these. Like Terraform, I don't even know what Terraform is yet. This is a new one that I've added to my list because
I've heard it before.
I don't
Like
I don't know what
recently.
it is, but
I
apparently
don't
it's
know what it
like
is either.
huge in demand
But
right
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But Kubernetes is a big one too. I've been trying to do labs at home, and I just created a. Here, I'm on camera right now, so I'll pull it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I have this like article page. I'm actually writing this right now. This is my article, deploying code
Mm-hmm.
to web app. But let's see. I just published this one, and this is
Nice.
a
Damn.
a Kubernetes lab with Docker, and I do a step by step. Step one, I walk you through every step of this, and I even put in error messages. So if your computer's not working with it, I have some troubleshooting throughout this thing. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be super. It's already super easy to follow, and I'll drop the link
Mm-hmm.
in the description below for other people to
Mm-hmm.
follow through it. So if anyone wants to do any labs,
Yeah.
this is a pretty fun one that I
Nice.
made.
Yeah.
Took me a
So
couple
it's like a
days.
Nice.
documentation of yours, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
maybe
man. Nah, when I saw Medium, I was like, that's dope. Yeah, because Medium is very, very popular in the crypto community. So
Mm-hmm.
that's cool. I didn't know that. I
yeah,
just I
so
just found out about Medium like a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
really, yeah, no, I've known about Medium for months. Yeah, but that's what like if there's like a crypto post their articles in Medium is what they do. So you go and you can check it out, and then yeah, that's basically what people do, which is sweet. But yeah, man, I've just been so curious about that. Like, I know that like Jorge, he like harps on the CCNA. He's like, get that shit, and I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it. But it just doesn't make sense to me like how that's gonna translate to like, okay, I get my CCNA, I start talking to recruiters, and
Mm-hmm.
then I basically, tell them on like what I know about like, networking, I get the job, and then I don't do anything related to the CCNA. So it's like, what am I gonna do?
Right.
I don't want to go into a position and then fuck around and get fired. You get me after like a week because they're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you should know how to do this and that. Like, you know how to do this, but you can't do this. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? So
Mm-hmm.
it's a little alarming. Obviously, you're doing it, Adam, so
Right.
you're making it happen, which is great.
Right.
I'm coming from a sales background to go into IT. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It's like it's a completely different industry. So going in,
I
obviously,
understand
initially,
you. I was
yeah,
in civil engineering
it's
before coming to IT, so I get what you mean.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Yeah.
was like the concern I had. I mean, I guess when I get my CCNA, I'll reach out to Jorge and he'll elaborate more. Like, this is what you're gonna do
Right.
next.
Right.
Da 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 da.
Yeah.
So
Because I know for me, what he told me most likely what I have to do, I might get like one or two certifications, like, and the second one will be like at the time during the job interview process and things like that. He told me to go first, like most likely we're going to talk about the VCA, the beginner one, DBT, to get that
yeah,
certification, and then he said
that
after that,
certification's not there anymore.
it's
That
not right.
certification, nah,
No, it's
now it's
not.
like an actual network virtualization
Oh,
cert that you
really?
can get. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
that
So
means
they got rid
I
of
have to
they
go
got rid
through
of
that.
it because the way the plan basically was is everyone gets the VCA, DBT, and then from there you can specialize if you want to go in a data center, if you want to go into networking.
Yeah.
Okay, so when did they cancel it though?
April, I
I don't know,
think.
maybe I was gonna say like a few months ago, yeah, but it's
Okay,
been a while since it hasn't. I just went through it, because I go on the website. I've looked at AWS. I haven't looked at Azure, but I know a few
I looked
people
at
that work with
Azure.
Azure.
Um,
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
know a
went
few
to
people that work
AWS.
with Azure, which is cool.
I
Mm-hmm.
think
Yeah,
I think AWS might be like a little bit better. I don't know why, but
It was the first one, right?
maybe it's just me, man. But I think Amazon does a better job of marketing their certificates than Microsoft does, because I've been
Mm-hmm.
seeing them way more. And like when you see the badges pop up on LinkedIn, Like Microsoft
Mhm.
doesn't give out as aesthetic. I know it sounds dumb, but just aesthetic.
I know
But
what you
like,
mean.
but like, I guess it's like Starbucks and fucking Gucci and stuff. But like, Amazon does look a little bit better, but it's the same stuff. I know that. The only reason I went Azure is because WestJet gave me a ton of certificates vouchers when I got laid
Mhm.
off. So I'm like,
Oh.
obviously I'm gonna be doing the test for free. So,
Mhm.
Yeah, so that makes sense. No, I
Yeah.
feel that. Yeah,
but I mean,
yeah,
if I
man.
could start again, and if I didn't have vouchers, I think I might explore Amazon a bit more. Like I think I even
Mhm.
still might, but
I
we'll
feel
see.
you. But yeah,
There's so much to
yeah,
learn,
man.
man. It's
I
too
gotta
much.
just take my freaking CCNA, talk to Jorge or George,
Yeah.
however way you guys call him, and then see what's next. But yeah, on the VMware action plan, it's still the same thing. You know, they say you can get the cert in 2 weeks, which is nice.
Mhm.
So you can
The
start looking for
NV,
jobs and stuff.
the network virtualization.
Yeah,
No,
then any
just
of
the
them,
client
it's
one, I
2 weeks.
think. Or any of them? Yeah, okay.
I think it's just
Okay.
giving you like a background. It's like this is what VMware can do.
Oh, okay,
It's
okay.
not really, yeah, like you're not gonna. I don't think you're gonna dive into anything too technical, but knowing the CCNA, I think does help. Just like understanding, like, okay, this is how a
Mhm.
network works. So you can
Mhm.
kind of pick up things easier. Because like as I kept studying and studying, I started noticing that other things were making a lot of sense, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can look at like something for like an hour or two and be like, all right, I know how this works. I know I can implement this. Got to lab it
Mhm.
up a little bit, and then it's like that material now. So like that's what I kind of noticed. Once you like kind of have a little bit more of a in-depth background on topics like spanning tree protocol, even like
Yeah.
OSPF,
Right.
ERGP and stuff like that. So just being able to configure it and
Right.
understanding what happens between those kinds of protocols and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So that's what I've noticed for me, and that's why like even like these questions, I'm like, oh, like when you guys were talking about DHCP that entire time, I was trying to like basically say something too, but the mic wasn't working. I'm like, damn, like
Yeah.
I really do know a lot, and I didn't even realize it. It's kind of like one of those things, which I
Right.
think is pretty cool. Just
It
about
is.
like this whole process, because if you're studying by yourself, it really feels like, damn, like I don't know shit. Especially when a new question pops up, and you're like, I know this, but if I got asked this right now in a job interview, I'd be fucked. But
Yeah.
like you don't, but you know it though. It's like, oh, like
Right.
that's it. Like one of the questions I saw was like, how do you turn on HTTP? And I'm like, I mean, what you would do is you would just create the pool and then turn it on. But no, you have to do service DHCP. That's how you turn it on. So it's like little stuff like that, they'll hit you with like
Mhm.
some left field shit, and you're just like, all right,
Right.
well, I kind of know that
Right.
already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just
Yeah.
noticed that happening, here and there. Nothing crazy, but yeah, man. I
Mhm.
like these. So I like these calls. It gives me a lot of confidence, just
Same
knowing
here,
like,
man.
okay, yeah, it gives me some confidence knowing like, all right, like maybe I can do this.
I was down
You
my
know what
whole
I
day
mean?
today too, but then just going through this just made it easier for me, man.
Yeah, yeah. Every explanation you gave was solid in my opinion. I
I
don't know
appreciate it.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I don't know if it would be the same thing for Jorge because he's a little
Right.
bit, he's a little strict. He wants you to be, but I love that
Right.
though.
Me
Me
too.
too.
Yeah,
Me too.
Keeps me on my
you know what I
toes, man.
mean? He
Same here.
does. It's like yo, like anytime I get on the phone with him, I'm flustered. I'm like, shit, I don't want to
Yeah.
fuck up
Same.
around him. Yeah,
he
Same
he
here.
does that to me too. He'll ask me a
he does it to all of us.
he'll ask me a
Yeah,
question like, Adam, tell me about yourself, and I'm like,
fuck.
but then like a normal interviewer will ask me, and I'll just kill it.
Yeah, like
Right.
it's
Right.
only with him. I don't know why. It's funny, but it's funny to hear that it's like that with other people, and I'm over here thinking like, shit, it's just me. I gotta grab my inhaler before put my, you got me like put my mic on mute. Like shit.
we're
Yeah,
yeah, we're like a bunch of
yeah, man.
trained animals, and he's like the circus leader.
Yeah, yeah. No, exactly. It's
He's a,
so
he's
Nah,
a
funny.
I remember
sergeant.
too.
We're all the
I remember
recruits.
when he asked me like the difference between router and a switch. In my head, I'm like, and I watched a lot of his videos on YouTube, and I went through it. He was like, "Did you learn this by any? This is how you naturally speak." At first, I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "No, to be honest, sir, I watched your videos and stuff." He's like, "I could tell. I could tell." Honestly, I give
Yeah.
most people a 1 or a 2, but for you, I'll give you 3.5. You just have to learn how to do the storytelling and the persuasion and connect a little more, you know?
Yeah.
Savage.
Yeah.
Savage, man.
Yeah.
It's like you can never hit it where it's like you did a good job. And
Right.
but it's cool though, because
Like,
it's like you, yeah, man. It's funny though to hear that because we all feel the
yeah,
same way, but it's not in like a negative way. It's like a
Yeah, yeah.
damn, like,
right,
okay, I'm
right.
really getting what
Hey,
I'm
man,
paying for,
3.5. I was
like I'm
happy. I was
really,
like, shit. 3.5?
yeah. But it's like, yo, you
I
gotta
take
work.
that.
Yeah.
I should
Yeah, I
work,
think
but I'll
that's
take
also
that.
why. Yeah, I think that's also why sometimes I feel like, damn, like, am I gonna actually be good enough to do this? Because he's,
Right.
Yeah.
But then speaking to other people, I'm like, damn, okay, maybe I do know what the fuck I'm doing, at least a little
Mhm.
bit.
Yeah. I remember
So
one
that's,
time I answered a question and Jorge was like, "Yeah, I guess that's okay." That's all he said, and I'm like, "Shit, that's a really good fucking response." He didn't tear my ass apart.
bro, I remember one time I was like explaining something, he was like, stop. I was like,
like next,
damn.
next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you answered it like that in the job interview with me, I'd tell you to get the fuck out.
Yeah. Like, I guess you don't
Savage,
want the
man.
job, huh?
Huh?
I guess you don't
Right?
want to be
Yeah.
in IT, huh?
Nah, it makes you feel that way. But no, I'm still
Right.
keeping it. I'm still keeping it pushing because it's like, if he could figure
Mhm.
it out and he's put other people through it, and I've seen other people's
Right.
testimonials, like, oh, I went in there, I got the job, making
100%.
60K, 65K my
Mhm.
first job. I'm like, well, shit,
Yeah,
Right.
you
there's
know?
a guy in the group. His name was Nick. Nick, I can't pronounce his last name, but here I'll share him on the screen. Sorry, Nick, I don't want to butcher your last name, buddy. If you're watching this, this guy,
Oh, you post these?
the videos. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We're recording. We've been recording the whole time.
Nice, nice. No,
Yeah,
because I think if when he like if he watches it, he's probably gonna laugh.
yeah. So shout
He's
out
probably
to
gonna
Nick.
crack up.
Shout out to
No, not
Nick,
only
though.
Nick, but Jorge. He's definitely gonna, you know, if he has time,
Yeah.
obviously,
Let me
he's
let
probably
me
gonna be like these.
let me endorse my bro here.
Yeah, yeah.
Highly skilled. Yeah, you're good. Okay. But yeah, Nick is killing it. He started a network engineer academy before I did, and I started like 2 years ago now. And
Nice.
yeah, Nick is doing good, man. Yeah. There's a few guys in NEA who are making like more than 150K now.
Damn.
Yeah, and none of them have like their bachelors or anything. Just the same as us.
Yeah. Right, right. Yeah. I mean, I went to school. I just didn't finish. It's expensive.
We lost Fethi.
Oh, we did. It is what it is.
It is what it
He'll
is.
probably be back on. It may have been a signal. So, yo, Adam, do you want to do anything else? Go over anything? Maybe the people, if they watch it, they'll be like,
Um,
oh,
yeah, I think we'll wrap this up for now. We're at like
all right, yeah.
an
We're
hour
at like
and
an hour probably.
15. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay, yeah, yeah. But this is nice, man. Listen, whenever if I see anything, I'm just gonna say I'm down because in all honesty, I am. Just to do stuff like this,
sweet.
explain it, go through like some labbing. You know what I mean? Throw a little problem in, be like, damn, oh, I think he's back.
He's back.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be fun. I'm thinking I really want to try to do it at least once a week. And
Okay.
the more people in here, the better. Like that'd be pretty fun. Like a
Yeah,
bunch
yeah,
of
for
us
sure.
trying to troubleshoot an issue or something. I don't know.
For sure. Yeah, I'm down. Anytime, any day of the week. Uh, just post in the group. I pay a lot more attention now to what everyone posts. So yeah, someone I think I mentioned this earlier. Someone posted about they needed some help with well, I didn't say what it was. They needed some help with VTP,
Hmm.
or at least they thought it was. And I was like, okay, I mean, I know how to configure VTP. Let's take a crack at it. And then it ended up being something different. He just forgot to put a trunk port on one of the
Switch
ports
ports.
connected to another
Yeah.
switch. Yeah, exactly, on one of the switch ports. And yeah, I mean, it took me a little bit to find it because the first thing you're thinking, if someone tells you this is the issue that I think it is, you're gonna take a look at all that. And then
Hmm.
after looking at it, I was like, let me look at the running config because it's not VTP. VTP is super simple. you know, to configure if you got the client and the server switches, or if you have any transparents or whatever. And yeah, man. So that's why I was like, okay, now I see, I know what I'm doing, at least a little bit, you know.
Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah, maybe next
Yeah,
episode
for
we could
sure.
do VTP.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down to do any topic because I mean, like I said, the only things that I really, really don't know how to like fully configure are really like QoS. Um, I was actually looking at syslog earlier, just configuring that so that way you can connect it to a syslog server. What else? And then just like the network automation stuff. Those are
Right.
like the only things that I need to like study, and then I can take the test. So I'll probably do that in a few days, and
Sweet.
I'll be good to go. Yeah, man. But
Okay,
yeah, it was
man.
a pleasure.
Yeah,
Yeah, man, it was a
was a
pleasure, man.
pleasure. Thank you so much for your time. It was
For
fun.
sure.
And
Definitely. Yeah.
thank you everybody for staying tuned with us if you made it to the end. We'll see you next time.
All right.